Hello, Ray, and thank you very much for your response. First, I have to say, the Inquisition was overplayed. I I never tried to give numbers. I never tried to say millions. I mean, you recognize they were bad things, but you're still saying only. There was only 1,000 people a year, and I'm not trying to compare it to the communist genocides or anything like that. I'm just saying that standing on its own, it is not a good thing. So to let it all go because of all the good that it has, or because compared to other mass murderers, it wasn't as bad, it's not a good enough answer for me. I'm looking at it on its own. And you said so yourself, 40 million in the name of communism. And maybe communism does exclude God, but information we have doesn't show one way or the other, whether that is the reason for the actual murders. It's not that they killed people because they believed in God. They killed people because they didn't agree with your governmental setup there. That they were trying to make a new world order, and it's really much different than simply not believing in God. There's a lot more to communism than just not believing in God. So to say that not believing in God is the reason why they did all that, that's not. There's not enough evidence to support that. Uh, and you seem again to be lumping atheists and atheism together, but separating Christians from Christianity. And I don't really think that's fair. I'm not saying that religion is the worst thing in the world. What I'm saying is that we're allowed to attack the ideas of communism or to attack bigotry or any number of things. But just until recently, we had to sit in hiding, and now we're still not really able to talk freely in America or anywhere else about the irrationality of these religions. And to clarify, I dismiss Christianity and the claims of Christ because it's just not believable. It just sounds like a fairy tale to me, so I don't believe it's true. I don't dismiss Christianity because of the actions of its followers. Um, the bad things that are done in its name by their followers, that's what makes me recognize the danger of religion and the fact that we have to deal with it. But that's not why I dismiss the idea of God or the Christian God. They're two separate issues for me. And you're still failing to get my point. I have no interest in talking about the truthfulness of whether God exists or not. I don't believe that he exists, but I can't know, so I want to just leave that alone. That doesn't impact the rest of what I'm talking about. So I work with what I can see in the real world, and that is that these religious institutions are causing harm. They're causing death and murder across the world. And I see your point with the math. I see what you're trying to say, but like I said in the last video, comparing a definite truth in our sense of the word, 2 plus 2 equals 4, to the possibility that a creator exists doesn't really work. I mean, again, I see what you were trying to do, and I get it at that point, but they're really not that comparable. And still, you're arguing the claims of Christianity. I won't do that. As you said, it's either true or not. We can't know. So let's focus on the real world impact of religion. And that's what I've been trying to do. I don't have a problem with the basic teachings of Christianity. I mean, as far as the ones you've mentioned, and many more, I believe a lot of things mentioned are very positive and they tell us how to live a good life. But I don't believe that we should ignore all the bad just because there's those positives. And you know that you can quote many ideas in the Bible that say to do good things, but in the Old and New Testament, there are still many instances of God killing many people for the sake of Christianity. Now, I would argue if he was an all-powerful God, he could have found a better way to fix things without flooding the entire planet and killing almost everyone. Now, I know a lot of negative quotes get taken out of context, and I can accept that. But truthfully, even in context, I still don't consider the majority of them acceptable. They're still vengeful and masochist. They're still not good, whether they're in context or not. Um, I fully admit that from our current understanding, it seems as though there would have to be an event such as the Big Bang, and that would have had to have had a start of some sort. But again, that's our current understanding. As I said, we're talking about something where our laws of physics do not exist. This is before they even came into existence, so I find it hard to take a guess on what could have started it, or what a possible starting point even could have been. Uh, the law of cause and effect is based on our laws of physics, which again would not have existed then. So that's what I mean by we truly can't know. That doesn't mean that there is an intelligent creator that made us. That does Because we truly can't know doesn't mean that there's an intelligent creator that made us with intent and then stuck around. And if there was a creator, again, by your argument and our understanding of cause and effect, that creator would had to have had a cause, another creator. So, I mean, you pose that the Big Bang must have started. It's no different than your creator. And you say you don't accept macroevolution. I ask if you accept microevolution because, I mean, if you do, I would ask if you've ever really looked into evolution and studied it at all, like you wanted to know if I had studied the Bible. I mean, I would hope that you have a full understanding of it before you deny it. Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because microevolution and macroevolution are the same thing. It's just a longer time period. Macroevolution is simply multiple microevolutions in a sequence. So if you believe in any of these mutations, which are microevolution, then, I mean, they all go together. So unless you have an understanding that I'm not quite getting, where you can separate micro and macroevolution, I really don't see how you can say you don't believe in macro, unless you don't believe in micro. If you don't believe in any kind of mutation, I can accept that. But if you believe in mutation and microevolution, I don't see how you can't believe in macroevolution. Um, and you have to note that the materials that make life are abundant in non-life across the universe. It's a matter of having them arranged in the right way with some energy there. It just takes time for these things to happen. And it's not like a rock turned into an amoeba. The first life, as far as we know it, were single-celled organisms, and they would have been collections of carbon and other necessary material puddled in some water, and likely with enough energy, the materials got rearranged at the molecular level in such a way that they could become living organisms and then begin to evolve. Again, I'm not saying I know this. I am very definitely saying I do not know. I don't know the answer. But just because we don't know does not mean there's a God. I mean, you've heard me say it a few times. I'm sure you have that point by now. You may feel that you have to choose one or the other, but I'm okay with saying I just don't know. I'll wait until I get more information before I can say for sure. But I will go one step further and say I don't believe in God, but that's a belief. That's not me trying to assert that it's factual. And I appreciate you saying that. I mean, at least I'll admit that you can't know for sure that there may be a creator, but I have to say that I know many Christians who are 100% sure that there is a God. There is no doubt in their mind whatsoever. And to me, being 100% sure that there is a God and being 100% sure that there isn't are both just as ignorant. They're just stupid positions. You don't fully understand what you're talking about if you say that. Um, I agree. Alien life isn't really an end-all answer, like you said. There would have to have been a cause for that. I'm more interested again in the effects of religion, but as far as the cause goes, I would say it would have to be more to do with the creation of the universe itself. Any individual life form that came up in the universe was just another random chance that could have happened. But the creation of the universe itself would explain where all this came from. So that is what I would like to understand. But again, I don't know. Um, my logical conclusion is, again, that we don't understand the rules that govern the creation of the universe. So to say that there had to be a cause is, again, putting our rules of cause and effect of physics that we have in the universe to something that existed before the universe. And we can't, not to say that won't work, but we don't know, so we can't do that and expect it to be the right answer. And I get the misunderstanding of agnosticism and atheism quite a lot, so please let me explain this. I did another video, I'll do it again. Technically, an agnostic and an atheist are not one or the other. They are not mutually exclusive things. They deal with two different areas of thought. Being an agnostic deals with knowledge, meaning that I do not know for sure whether there is a God. But that doesn't mean that I can't be an atheist as well. And saying that I don't know, I still don't believe it to be true. Atheism, by definition, is simply a lack of a belief in God. So they really do go together. I consider myself an agnostic atheist, not one or the other. Um, well, I hope this explained my position a little bit more, and I await your reply. And yeah, I really am enjoying this. I thank you for being open-minded and actually considering my questions. Whereas most of the time I try to get into a conversation, I mean, they're just flat out denied, and the fact that you're even looking at them, I really respect that. Thank you.